Welcome once again to the Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network, and my special guest host is Mr. Richard Advani from Supreme Lending. He's one of the top investment loan agent in the country, and he has been doing it for a long time. His company is Supreme Lending. He helps real estate investors to finance investment properties all over the country, and he know my market very well because my network send him investors to get financing in many locations. So if anybody understand a specific real estate market, especially in a market that I'm going to talk about today, Mr. Richard Advani has the unique knowledge because, yeah. So anyway, without further ado, Richard, thank you for coming on board, and I really admire your advice because as an investment loan agent, you look at things at a very different perspective, and so you have done. I'm sure you have, I'm talking about Florida. You have done many other states as well for investors to get financing. So Florida, I mean, I don't know your situation. You own tons of properties everywhere in the country. I bet you some of your portfolio are located in Florida, so you don't have to say anything. I know you do.
Yeah, some of them are in this map, definitely. And I mean, in my career, not exaggerating, I mean, I've done north of 1,000 loans in Florida for investors. So yeah, lots of on the ground experience there.
Yeah, one thing I really value having you come on board is that as an investment loan agent, you are very objective in your analysis, right? I mean, you tell it like it is. You're not telling like to support me, although that'd be great, but you're talking, you're put in the shoes of a real estate investor. What would you do given the risk reward of buying investment property at a certain location of the country? What would you do, right? How are you going to mitigate risk? And
yep.
how
and also, with me, Seewing, like I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm brutally honest, and as you said, sometimes on these we don't agree and we don't necessarily see eye to eye, and I think that's one of the beauties about obviously doing these with you is we both share our perspectives, and sometimes they don't align. Most of the time they actually do, because both of us have been doing this a long time. But yes, I mean, anything I tell you guys, obviously it's my experience and my opinion, but I don't add sugar to get people to invest, right? I'm not sugar, and neither does Seewing, right? We're going to give you the meat and potatoes, give you all the data. That way you can analyze it the way that you analyze things and, make a comfortable, intelligent decision.
Absolutely. I totally agree. By the way, before we go any further, I'm going to talk about Ocala, Florida, which is, as you can see on the map on the upper portion of this screen. And of course, Ocala is like 1 hour and 15 minutes north of Orlando Metro. And so, before I forget, I'm under contract to buy one of this investment property here in Ocala. So just so you know, I mean, I speak, I do what I speak, what I advise, what I recommend. So I wouldn't do what,
yep.
What.
I own one in Ocala myself as well. I actually went and visited Florida a month before the pandemic hit. So I don't even know what. Now time obviously wasn't fast forward. I think about 2 years ago now, I went and visited Ocala kind of as a market tour, just because I had a lot of clients buying there and I hadn't been there. So I was like, hey, let me go do some research and meet, my markets and stuff. And when I went there, it was so nice that I ended up buying one myself, even though I wasn't planning on it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So if you bought it before the pandemic, I don't need to ask you. You made some good money in the past 2 years. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so I have the central. We've been doing. My network has been helping our investors to buy in Central Florida for the past, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. Like I said, many of our investors, their loans was financed by yours truly. So you know what's going on. So we talk about suburban growth, right? I mean, 6-7 years ago, a lot of our investors buy into Orlando Metro, right? In the core. At that time, the properties are like 100 grand, $100,000 investment property like 5 years ago. Now, the median price of Orlando Metro is probably, who knows, 400,000. So, so people are being priced out. When we talk about skyrocketing housing increases and skyrocketing rent, the locals in the Orlando Metro and whatever, they're being priced out. So, because of remote investing and all that stuff, people are moving into suburbs, and Ocala clearly is part of the suburban growth, giving also the migration. Obviously, Florida is the number one population growth, the number one in job growth. For a number of years now, you have retirees, coming to retire here in Florida. In fact, villages, the city of Villages, 30 miles below Ocala, as you can see, they have like 50,000, retirees age 55 and over, retiring. Those are upscale retirees from all over the country, or coming here in the villages to retire. When you have 50,000 retirees, you need a massive healthcare services to accommodate those retirees. So Ocala is a recipient, one of the growth industry. Furthermore, anyway, Jean Gillum, right, Richard? So you work with her. She's our realtor, and she have taken us to new build community all over Central Florida, and today's no exception. Ocala, when you think about it, what's going on? Let me look at the houses. Where else in the country, Richard, where you can get a new construction home in a top 5 fastest growing real estate area in the country, in Ocala Metro? Look at this, brand new, 1,323 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage for like $233,000. Okay, you don't have to answer. The national builders are never going to build this entry-level home for the primary home buyers, let alone investors. So the only way any investors can get this tremendous value is hook up with a network and hook up with a builder who can specifically build for investors. The sort of a build to rent business model, Richard, I'm sure you heard of, the increasing popularity of build to rent model, but we do it at a smaller scale, okay? So anyway, Jean Gillum and her team has once again came through. Look at this. I know if you look at even a 6% interest rate, 30-year fixed for investor, you put 25% down payment, you're gonna get a couple $100 positive cash flow. But as we mentioned, as Richard and I have been mentioning throughout our video podcast together, is not all about cash flow. So anyway, 20 to 25% down, you'll get break even all cash flow. But here's the value add. We just did an appraisal on a similar property, a completed property close by to Ocala, close by where these new constructions are being offered to our investors for sale. Another builder, we just did a recent appraisal, maybe a couple of weeks ago, similar square foot price range, similar model plan, if you will. So a similar house is being appraised for $282,000. So as an investor, you buying at 233K, it appraises at 282. So do the math, right? You will have a walking equity of whatever, 82 minus 33. We're talking like $50,000 approximately, right? So some of these most of these homes are you buying reserve a lot and whatever, and the house will be built within 7 to 9 months. All right, so you pay your 20% down earnest money deposit, let the builder build it out for you. Toward the end of this year, the fourth quarter this year, you get your completed house. You get your house rented out for $1,750 per month, which is very nice rent. Good numbers. Like I said, another validation of a home, a completed home close by. And this is not even new construction. This is as you can see, built in 2019. It's already 284. So you have a walking equity, which is amazing. So with that said, let me stop sharing my screen. now from a high level, Richard, from you as an investor, given what's going on in a national real estate market, so look, can you go over the pros and cons of if you were in the shoes of a real estate investor, would you buy it? Why would you buy it? And if you do not want to buy it, what kind of risk do you think that may prevent you from buying a property in this unit, in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and I don't need to pretend I'm in that scenario because I am. Obviously, I'm an active investor. As I mentioned, I own one in Ocala. I actually closed on it, I think, a year and a half ago, give or take. So one thing I really liked about Ocala, and I know you touched on it, but I don't think you put enough emphasis on it. So the Villages is the largest retirement community in the world, right? It spans I think it's like touches a couple counties almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you looked on the map, but it's massive. The Villages is probably bigger than Ocala. And obviously, being a large retirement community, being Florida, right? The most moved to state for retirement, not only the benefits, not only obviously all the retirees moving in, but it's all the support staff that needs to move in with it. For every person that moves, I think I was reading an article saying for every 10 retirees that moves to Florida, they need 3 or 4 medical staff to move into Florida, or even keep in mind the facilities they have there, right? The people that maintain the facilities, whatever it may be, it's massive and it's continuing to grow. And, the outside cities like Ocala provide a lot of the labor and work for the Villages. A lot of people commute 30 to 40 minutes to work, which, here in California, we're very used to, but they commute 30 to 40 minutes to work at the Villages, and then obviously live in places like Ocala. And most of Ocala is blue collar, but I'd say like upper blue collar. When I visited there, I mean, it reminded me of California, I guess that's why I liked it, right? Neighborhoods that, if you're pulling on the street into the neighborhood, there's big grassy medians with trees in them. And then as you drive through neighborhoods, homes are all relatively newer, but, yards are well kept, and, you could, there's not beater cars everywhere. So it gave me a really good, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. One of the properties I went and toured, actually, it was like, I swear, if I didn't know the agent, I would have said, you set this up. But we were touring the property, and the next door neighbor was scrubbing and bleaching her concrete, like the sidewalk. Like, I mean, that's how impeccable this person wanted their house. And I'm like, this would be a great neighbor to have. Like, their property's impeccable. They're scrubbing their little sidewalk right now. So yeah, I really liked Ocala. I still like Ocala. Obviously, it's moved up like everything else, but as you said, buying a brand new construction home in one of the fastest growing markets for under 250 grand is still mind boggling. You can't really find that anywhere. The rents have moved up as well pretty decently there since I bought even too. So, you still can make a good ROI. Although, as you listen to some of the prior webinars, don't let ROI be the only gauge that you're looking at in terms of where to buy or when to buy. But yeah, it's a strong, it has strong fundamentals, I think, in Ocala. The labor force is strong, regardless of its change in economy. There's still going to be a good labor force there, and that offers, I think, a lot of growth potential. And a lot of people have given up on Florida right now because of where values are. Don't look at Ocala. It's been a great place for me. It's been a great place for a lot of my investors. And also, if you're stuck on the fence and you're really just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, go take a weekend trip there. Go spend the weekend in Ocala, meet with one of the partners there, or, you have some addresses, go drive by, explore the town, hang out with your significant other, and then pick up a property and fly home. It can be fun as well. And I think they'll give you a lot more confidence in terms of what these markets have to offer. If you're one of those skeptical type and, you think obviously Seewing and I are here just trying to promote all the positive, go fly out there and check it out for yourself is my advice.
Yep, exactly, Richard. You've been following my network. You've been following a lot of investors. You have done a lot of loans in Florida. and in other areas of the country. So you have a unique understanding, not only in Ocala, throughout Florida, Cape Coral, you have done known over Central Florida and Jacksonville, I mean, everywhere in Texas. And I have to believe that most of your investment loans done are in Texas and Florida. Am I right?
I would say recently, yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for your perspective. I think that's pretty much it we have. Nice and short and sweet coming from a, investor like Richard. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It's just, what else can you ask for? So thank you so much for your time, and everyone. Hopefully you got a lot of good value from our podcast. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. This is Seewing Yee, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Seewing. I'll try to do one again with you next week. Touch base with me maybe Tuesday.